We are live. This is the market update. Did you miss Bitcoin? Don't worry. I'm going to tell you what to do. Have you seen the XRP weekly chart? Do you want live technical analysis on, say, Cardano, XRP, and Bitcoin? Stay right here. Don't go anywhere. I am your host, Bill Noble. Now, why did this Bitcoin rally happen? Why was everyone shocked except Michael Saylor? Okay. What happens when they put XRP out on display next week? What happens when XRP is the star of the show? How high can it go? How high can it go? Is the Federal Reserve going to have to cut rates massively? Is the economy teetering a little bit? Here's an example. You have wild price action in equities. You have all these shorts getting squeezed out, and that moves over into crypto. But if Jerome Powell cuts rates, is he admitting that there might be something wrong out there? Is he worried about the dollar? All these Wall Street characters are all short the dollar versus fiat. And as anybody who watches the show knows, the dollar devaluation or just the simple dollar down move will be done by the dollar falling versus crypto. Now, that said, I've been saying that for a while. A lot of other people were bullish, but we thought it would stop at 114 and then that would start alt season. That's what we thought, right? Wrong. Okay? The bullish people weren't bullish enough. And the bearish people got smoked, obviously. And characters who were doing something called hedging, where, or they were trying to earn some yield through the derivatives market, right? So they were long Bitcoin, but they were short like a leveraged bullish instrument. So they were kind of long, they were super long, but they also had that thing, right? And if you don't understand what the thing is, it's fine. The explanation is in 6th Street Crypto in Patreon. But once the market starts to cross a certain point and starts to move in a certain trajectory, guess what? They get squeezed out. The higher it goes, the more they have to buy. Again, the full explanation. And you have dealers. Who's going to sell to Michael Saylor? The market never went down. So you have all these characters, and even Arthur Hayes missed it. And then what does he tweet out? He goes, well, I think I missed Bitcoin, but we're currently backing up the truck. Because here's what's really funny. And here's why you got to stay tuned to get the charts, the news, and the rationale behind what's happening. You get like 3, 5, 6% moves. So what? Right? This thing's headed for like 25, 35, 45, 55%. Which coins are going to do that? Again, you got to stick around to find that out. Right? The Bitcoin story just got bigger, if that was even possible. And the altcoin story is going to get huge because they're all going to be on display next week. The administration has a colossal optics problem. Sovereigns don't like you. I got a tweet. I swear, it's priceless. They don't like you. Now, you don't care because with crypto, you can be sovereign, right? And if you get digital dominion, aka the entertaining manual to fight back against Ray Dalio, the QR code's on the screen and the link is down below in the subscription. Hackers versus hedge funds. By the way, the hedge funds are all underinvested too. Want to know how I know? XRP up 10%. Cardano up 10%. Now, we know why XRP is up because they're the star of the show next week. I have the news on that. Why is Cardano up 10%? Well, every big mega rally starts off with the rally and a big move in things people hate, right? What goes up first? Well, high quality Bitcoin and then stuff that no one likes. And no one is long, because I ask you a very simple question. NVIDIA is worth $4 trillion. Altcoins before today were worth like 900 billion. Web3 versus one company. And catch this, in equities, like I said earlier, they're doing a huge short squeeze over there. Momo stocks are actually going down, and all the stocks that they're short are going up only. Terrible P&L destruction. Now, here's an even funnier note. In equities, you know what they're going to do? They're going to go, you know what? I'm tired of the volatility. I'm going to buy crypto. Right? Equities went down 25%. Everyone forecasts recession. Then it goes up and makes a new high, led by 20 stocks that are now going down while the shorts continue to get squeezed out. Ethereum is much better. Where's Ethereum going? Back to its 2017 high? I don't think so. I don't think so. And Solana hasn't moved. Today in Solana was dip day. I have it on the charts, and you're not going to want to miss it. We're going to have, like live TA festival today. All right. And by the way, the YouTube members, the lady who wrote the book calls up Banner Bubbles and go, I want that one. I want that one. I want that one. I want to shop. I want to go 800, 900 market cap on the list of 1,000. I ask you this. If you're not here, where are you? Where are you? And the good news is you're here for the rally. The even better news is we got research. This is podcast style. Patreon has written report style, preferred medium, multiple tiers. It's very exciting. We are ready to help you. Bull Runner, Hal Lopez. Oh my God, must be the middle of the night in Portugal. What's up, dude? Traveler 88, right? Traveler 88 says, when you write up only, I feel like it's time to sell. Exactly. That's why I wrote up only. When you write up only and it's cringe, it can go higher, I think. When you write up only, when it's all over CNBC or whatever, I understand. The good news is I didn't wear the cowboy hat. Art from the Amsterdam airport, Brandon, Gavin Busby, hammering away with those emojis from the member area. What's up? Yoppy is here. Been away for a day. What'd I miss? This market went from completely dead. I mean, I have legitimate evidence that I have to keep private that this thing, it was like 4 days ago, it was over, done. Like never going up again in our lifetime. And then see it. Blackrock, no doubt behind that. Tyler Hall, good afternoon. JB, Patriot Caveman, Gian, DMT Saver, Grandpa Keeter, sir, good afternoon. Wrong again. Calling the market, helping people in Patreon. The junk rallies first. Your bass hurts. Lee J, Knox Bill, BitBoy Al, and Matthew Davies. XRP is the real deal. Wrong again, dusting off the lampshade. I think you can wear the lampshade for like another week and a half. And then you put the lampshade away and then you get it back out in August. We're going to do this in 2 stages. Like, yay. Altcoins is suppressed. Those are Toby's words. Like, it's happening. It is absolutely happening. Now, a really great tweet if you missed it. This cred. It's like 3 cycles ago. Did I buy the Bitcoin bottom? No. Did I trade this breakout perfectly? No. But did I carefully buy enough spot Bitcoin in the last few months to allow me to relax and ride this trend without FOMO? No. This is very common sentiment, okay? The equities guys clearly didn't buy enough, right? Traders got caught off guard. It's like, oh, well, volume has shrunk, and I think it's a top. And, you know, I even bought into a little bit of that. But I said, that's cringe. Let's go to altcoins. 3 days too early. Everybody missed this, and here's why. Players like Blackrock, they know when they can push the market, like in July, when it's quiet, and they all know how to get, let's call it the stops, like 1 billion or so liquidated. Yeah, I think that's a teeny weeny number because that's only talking about crypto. They got blown out in legacy too, hence Bitcoin through the premium zone. So if you missed it, you have company. You have company. But the good news is altcoins never went up. And if Bitcoin wants to do something wild, like go for 120, you know, at this point, I can't believe they wouldn't try, right? If they go for 120 or this gets wild, right? Like Michael Saylor starts jumping in, the rising tide could lift all boats because people missed it. Arthur Hayes missed it. He was talking about it. Cointelegraph, bears in disbelief. Were people actually bearish? Here's the chain of events. First, you get long, you get bullish. Then it goes down and you get out. Then you get bearish. Then you get short. Then you get squeezed out. Then you get bored. And when you get bored, you start to like lose your wildly bullish imagination. You're like, yeah, it can go up next week, later, for 4 or 5%. No. Whoosh, gone. Bull markets are hard. And I know I say this all the time. And I know everybody goes, yeah, okay. Yeah, but doing it is a whole other story. And like I said, this is why this is one of the reasons for the cringe thumbnail, right? Who wants to buy XRP up 10%? Nobody. Because every time you've bought altcoins after 2 or 3 days up, you have gotten hosed. Whereas in Solana, you got perfect charts for like a dip, you're definitely going to want to see it. It's like the smallest little thing that's telling you these things are going to erupt in stages. But, you know, again, the sideways, quiet action, you know, you start reading Glassnode. Glassnode comes up with stuff that like retail's buying the top. There were all kinds of rationales. We're not doing any of that. If you don't know where you are, you should be right here. If you don't know what to do, we will help you. We got this show that is free. You got a $4.99 emoji to get priority on comments. I ask you this. What happens when the Fed cuts rates? Beware that if history is any guide, the moment the Fed starts cutting rates aggressively, a certain problem could reveal itself. In 2007, when they started cutting rates, that was the telltale sign that there was actually something wrong. What's wrong out there? Well, we don't know. But we do know that Ray Dalio was on the tape talking about it today. Now, I got something for Ray, but Ray's not stupid. He's not stupid. And there may be something weird out there, which is why all of a sudden, everybody was really interested in FOMOing into Bitcoin. And BlackRock is FOMOing into ETH. They're buying more ETH than Bitcoin. XRP futures volume exploding because the Orange Man's essentially going to run a 1-week commercial for American-made cryptos with XRP out front. This is the first week that you've had legitimate XRP news, right? You know, Garlinghouse in front of the Senate, No move in XRP. None. Right? Then they come out with like a couple of announcements. It's like, always exciting to see the University of Kansas leading the way. That's what Garlinghouse said today. Right? I mean, it's like, hey, wait a minute. We went higher. XRP went higher on Garlinghouse tweeting about his alma mater doing blockchain. What happens when the orange man is running full out commercials for crypto for a week because they need a distraction? It's such a disaster. And I said that, but I didn't think they were going to do this. I thought they were going to do it later again, right? I was on it, but I missed it. It's a good thing I hodled. Now, here's a piece of trivia that you need to know. Do you realize that Bitcoin took out 100,000 euros per coin this week? So everyone in Europe woke up to, hey, this is now crossing 100K. And let me tell you something. There are so many reasons to buy Bitcoin, so many reasons to buy crypto in Europe. I think we would have to have a whole separate show. A whole separate show. By the way, if you like this new monologue style, please feel free to leave a comment below. And if you don't like the monologue style, please let us know. The halls of eternity echo with the cries of those who sold their Bitcoin. 4.4 million followers. Once upon a time, back in 2021, to get attention, this guy just went outside in 90-degree heat, and it was way hotter than that because it was like 100% humidity in a black suit. And I was like, oh my God, let me get over here, right? There's Hotshot Bill in his sport jacket taking a picture with the man. Congratulations, Mike. Great trade. Great freaking trade. Jordan Peterson, the psychologist, goes, if I understand what you're saying, Bitcoin is going to suck the investment capital out of everything. And Michael Saylor's like, yeah, exactly. That's where the multi-gazillion target comes from. Bitcoin supply is shrinking. Listen, man, every corporation is buying it. Eventually that comes to critical mass because market makers can't figure it out. They can't figure how does Saylor, Metaplanet, GameStop, Joe's ice cream store, your dry cleaner, how did they get filled? How did they get their orders done? Where's the seller? And this applies, in my opinion, to altcoins. Now, here's the next story. Oh my God. So VanEck, which is like a research house, and research houses are always looking for something edgy to say, right? Got to get out of consensus a little bit. We can't just say we like Solana and Avalanche, okay. All right. We're not paying you for that. But VanEck goes out and finds the CEOs or the executives of Bitcoin mining companies giving themselves excessive compensation. Now, if you read the details, they're getting excessive compensation in the stock of the company, of the mining company. Now, VanEck is like, if they sell this stock or if they are selling this stock, it constitutes dilution, right? Because they're effectively kind of like printing shares of stock to give to themselves. Now, why would somebody do that? Right? Why not do stock options or something like that? Why give yourself the stock? Because they're going to get taken over, right? The bidding war. Right now, all we got is a bidding war for Bitcoin, right? That's all we got right now. We don't have a bidding war for Solana, for ETH, for XRP, even if it's up 10%. Who cares? XRP went up 400% last time. And big big coins should be worth $1 trillion. If NVIDIA is worth $4 trillion, and a lot of those Momo plays are rolling over. Oh, and by the way, retail in stocks has never been longer. They have never bought more stock. Naturally, Jeff Bezos is selling them all that they need right before Prime Day. Whoop, see ya. Think they got AI that knew it was going to happen on Prime Day? You think? So retail is long all the wrong stuff. They're long all the wrong stocks. They're not in crypto. And where is crypto going to have to go before they figure that out? Most likely it's going to be a big takeover, or ETH at 4,000. I mean, ETH went from 2,000 to 3,000. Why can't it go from 3,000 to 4,000? That's not even the all-time high. And even if you hate ETH, what you may not realize, and I've been saying this because our Gann model inside Patreon Platinum, oh my God, I cannot get it to stop telling me about Uniswap, right? Uniswap. And funny that today, CoinDesk, they must watch the show. DeFi tokens are soaring, leaving behind OG coins. Okay, well, you definitely don't want to leave Monero behind, and you don't want to estimate what happens when normies get here. You don't. Normies are not here. Normies are FOMOing into equities. Seriously. No, and banks, remember, who are in trouble with the orange man because of debanking. The best week to make an announcement is crypto week. That is why XRP is up 10%. That is your answer. If there's going to be an announcement, if there's going to be the orange man saying something, or World Liberty coming in and making a big purchase, right? It's like World Liberty isn't big enough to move the market, but World Liberty makes symbolic gestures that can really move the coin. Undoubtedly, they're getting paid for that. So there is some grift, but keep in mind, the orange man has 8% of his net worth in crypto. Meanwhile, back at the stablecoin ranch, they cannot get enough of stablecoin stocks in Hong Kong. Wow, they must watch the show. What happens when the Chinese get here? Because they're all late too. They're all late. Oh, you got plenty of time. Yeah, we'll get it later. Yeah, we'll buy up a whole 100K. The tariffs are scary, right? When you knew this Bitcoin rally was freaky, the markets go up. Orange man figures he's got room to go, tariff everybody. Market goes down for I watched it in Asia time yet. Market went down for 30 minutes and came back straight green. That's institutional market makers and hedge funds going, oh my God, he just said something super negative and it did not go down. Now, in a moment of surrealness, the outside world is more bullish on Ethereum than Consensus or the Ethereum Foundation. Ethereum Foundation sells 10,000 ETH to SharpLink in first such OTC deal. So consensus, these guys were selling at 3,200 before it collapsed. Now, I understand the optics of that are negative. They're just now trying to turn the narrative around because they're now doing also a privacy pivot. When a project is bearish its own coin, it's going up. When there's a downturn in stocks and Wall Street firms lay people off, it's always the bottom. That is the bottom, right? Because they hold on. Then it bounces and everyone sells. I mean, that's what's happening now. I mean, Novogratz, the genius that he is, I think he sold ETH at 1,800. He sold ETH on the first bounce and bought Solana. Now, Solana is doing okay. And Solana is going to be massively okay long term. But somebody's asking why I did up only. This is why I did up only. I mean, they're bearish their own coin. They're bearish their own coin. Now, let's talk about the dollar. All signs are pointing to the dollar heading lower. Will it? Here's a really funny answer. No. No. Right? Why? Because all of Wall Street is short the dollar, right? That's how these guys, and again, I feel bad for these analysts, right? They all got pressured by the price action to call for a recession. You know, Wall Street inherently is not pro-orange, man. So they were like, oh my God, a recession. And then they flipped it to, change our mind. You know what? It's not recession, it's short dollar. So they get short the dollar falls. Now they're calling for the dollar to go to zero, and it should fall. But, and Ray Dalio still doesn't get this, how should it fall? It should fall with crypto rallying, because we have big currencies over here with multi-billion-dollar market caps that should have multi-trillion-dollar market caps. I saw something before the show that Bitcoin is now the 10th largest currency. Really? The 10th largest? Huh. Because they keep comparing Bitcoin to I don't know, Microsoft and NVIDIA and Magnificent Seven stocks. And these characters are spending hundreds of millions of dollars, billions and billions of dollars to FOMO into an AI race that's not yet profitable. Of course, they're also FOMOing in because they want to control everything, right? He who has the best model controls the world. $9 for the ebook, $25 for this incredibly nice, fancy first edition with a really nice paperback cover. I can't shill it hard enough, because you know what? Every time I see this character, it turns me red in the face. The empire can no longer borrow money to repay its debts. It prints a lot of new money. Living standards decline. Really? I hadn't noticed, right? I know what happens when a country creates too much debt, Ray. But what you don't realize is the country does have a way out. It does. Yeah, it could nationalize MicroStrategy and use it to back treasuries, as medieval as that would be. They could also come in and buy it in the open market. If it's going to 13 million, at 77, it wasn't attractive, but at 118, it looks awesome. I'm allocating 7% of my portfolio, right? Don't want to hear the hedge fund, booga, booga, booga. Now, I'm going to read you something from a guy with 9,000 followers. I was talking with my wife today, and I realized something. The last 5 years have proved this one thing without a shadow of a doubt. The sovereigns hate you. And Bitcoin is a gift from God. You don't believe me? Here's the thread. You don't need the thread, right? I don't think I could have said it any better than that. Powell continues to literally, he's printing money and paying that money in interest to banks and foreign banks. So no stimulus check for you, no tax cut for you, but with rates at 4%, right? Banks go, oh, this is awesome. The Federal Reserve Bank, right? Big banks go deposit money at the Fed. It's like corporate welfare. It's like, oh, I'm getting 4%. The Fed doesn't have that money. They kind of spin that up, right? And that money is not going to the Treasury, which is why Bessent wants stable coins so he can create money. And by the way, a lot of these banks are overseas banks. So no tax cut for you. And the Fed is doing corporate welfare for banks. Now, to be fair, that could be a whole bunch of deep state, evil. Or it could be there's something really wrong with the banks. Remember long Bitcoin, short the banks? Anybody out there? Don't laugh. And here's another don't laugh. These characters want a CBDC, something terrible. Post the wrong thing on social media, turn you off. Just shut you down. Central bank digital currency. The French are not happy, and they're launching investigations. Ethereum embracing full ZK adoption. You imagine if they figured out how to put any privacy layer on Ethereum? Oh my God. Especially with all those layer 2s. You could run all of finance if you could run it with privacy. Holy cow, man. Like that is big. No monarchy, only cryptography. Antivirus doing a retest of the big pennant that it's been in. False breakout through the bottom, broke out through the top. We'll see if it holds. Privacy, it matters. Now, you probably think I'm crazy. Everyone thought Michael Saylor was crazy paying $60 back in 2021. And he had to ride it all the way down to 16. Everyone forgets that about him. And I have no problem reminding you. Okay. TA Palooza. Live TA. Now, weekly charts, the XRP chart you stuck around for. And what exactly is on the XRP weekly chart? Ready? Nothing. Where's the resistance? Can't find it. Can't find it. Is there a topping signal in DeMark? Nope. Nope. I mean, if you look at this, this is like a big week. Next week, there'll be a dip or a pause. And then this thing could just go off to the races, particularly since the range is square. This is what ETH would look like before ETH would just go vertical. If you look at the daily chart of XRP, this is the dip. Like this thing where it kind of wicks down like this. It wicks up and then comes off. This could be the dip. Or you're going to get the dip tomorrow because the 4-hour chart, you know, is about to put in a 13 top. Now, if they do a 13 top on the 4-hour chart and it doesn't go down, what's that going to tell you? Because you did a 13 top over here. Like this sure looked like a top, right? That is the 13 and the 9 top. Whoops, sorry. See ya. This has been going on all week. You know, my thing was to make fun of the 200-day moving average. Everyone's like, oh, there's resistance, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And I said, what happens when there isn't any? What happens when they break out? Well, you get this. And check this out. Look at this. Okay, Solana, with the way this works, you have 1, 2, 3 when you're doing the green numbers. And on the fourth one, that's the dip. That's the dip. The fourth candle. Wow, what a huge dip you had in Solana. Got an unchanged. That's the dip. The resistance in Solana is at 177. And what happens if they blow through that? Because clearly they're afraid of it because they've pulled up short of it twice. Twice. Then you go to the weekly. Nobody home. Nobody's here. But on the monthly, I mean, it's way too early for this, but maybe not. Sometimes you can get tactical signals off a monthly chart. Sometimes you can, right? Sometimes you can get a trading rally off a monthly chart. 180, Solana has not been able to get through 180 for, I don't know, all of this year and all of 2024. So what happens if they punch through that and it's like sticks because of the ETF, right? Solana is getting sold here by all the people who provide you with free meme coin trading. That's not free. What happens if all that Solana supply goes to the ETF, which, by the way, is live and has not been traded? People are mistaking like hesitancy for bearishness. Let me just tell you this. Wrong. This market, just like Toby says, it's rolling itself out in sectors and buckets right before your eyes. ETH weekly. Wow, look at this. Just getting started. Like next week could be huge too before a dip. You think you're getting a dip in ETH? You might want to think about that, because there's nobody home here until 4,000, which, by the way, is I don't know. Is it the all-time high? Like, have you asked yourself what happens if the move from 2020 to 2021 was wave one, right? And this whole mess here is wave two, the correction. Now, what does wave two give you? A gateway to Web 3. I'm sorry. The gateway to wave 3. What's wave 3? Something bigger than this. Much bigger. So I don't know why anybody would get negative on this. And if you're doing a little dumpster diving, again, this could be the dip in Cardano, because Cardano took out resistance. And guess what? If Cardano winds up taking out what I would call the previous fourth wave, the area where the whole give up trade started from, that's 86 cents. So this was the give up trade in Cardano, right? Look at this, down only on a geopolitical event that appears to be over for now. And it took them this long to unwind it. They gave you a little mini version of the bigger the base, the higher in the space. Today is the dip day in Cardano, even if it's up 10%. You take out this bear market, bear trend, correction over. And that's kind of the junk. And again, a guy who gets bearish his own coin, he goes out and says, we're going to buy Bitcoin for our treasury. I'm like, bro, have you seen what Cardano, we did this 2 days ago, but we can do it again for a laugh. And again, the Eagle King is not here, so I am going to look at the comments in a minute. Cardano versus Bitcoin just got itself to resistance on this long-term, this is a daily chart. And if this is not an example, look at these bottom signals, the 9 and the 13. Get a nice little rounded action there. That's the junk. What about the good stuff? Right? All right, let's take a look at what we got here. Grandpa Keeter wants SUI. Let's do it. Swiss Seb from Switzerland, a member for 6 months. Algorithm Custom 1. What's up? Powell considering resigning. You know what? At this point, dude, it would be the honorable thing to do. I mean, for all the mistakes he made, and whether he's a deep state operative or not, he did serve his country. He could go out with some dignity. Just saying. And by the way, just in case you're wondering, we'll do SUI for the man. Okay. There's a couple things to note about SUI. First of all, it took out the 200-day moving average. Momentum is slowing, but they gave up on it in a big way. So at a minimum, this has got to get above $4 in my opinion, right? If you go over to DeMark, look at this. So you break above the DeMark resistance, right? See, that's the beautiful thing about DeMark is that it draws the support and resistance based on where all these numbers show up. So it takes the subjectivity out of it. Instead of this being the point, this is the point. SUI breaks out, SUI goes up on dip day, SUI dips and comes back. These coins were leadership coins in the last cycle, right? It was SEI and then SUI. And this DeMark work is a little weird, but it looks like a downtrend cut short to me. The bottom line is any dip, they bought it, and that's got to be hedge funds. That's got to be hedge funds. Cisco looking for fetch. Okay, I know we did like the cup and handle and fetch or super intelligence token ad nauseum. People just don't want to do the AI trade in crypto. We do not agree. You actually had a substantial dip in this thing today, and it came back to unchanged. How nice. They gave you the dip a day early. I mean, if you look at the weekly chart on this, I mean, I haven't looked at it. We're doing this all like live TA style. I mean, this is back to where it was in December of 2023. Did you try to use ChatGPT in 2023? Yeah, I mean, you could use it to get a recipe or make a calendar or write some Python. Where are we now? You telling me we don't want the decentralized universe? Get out of here, man. Get out of here. What do you want? You want Microsoft? What do you want? Right? Like, if you're not here, where are you? That's Microsoft squeezing people out. Seriously, we have entered a totally wacky world where the volatility in equities is so extreme, they would rather buy crypto. I never thought I would hear myself say anything like that. Anything, right? Wrong again says moon it. XRP. Let's go to XRP on Lux Algo. You know, here's what's really funny about XRP. For all the doodads and gizmos that I have, this Fibonacci circle structure, right? From a long-term price prediction done a long time ago. Just left it on the chart. The 200-day moving average was not relevant. The Fibonacci circle was relevant. Now, of course, there's a lot of chop here, but they must watch the show or they must have their own analysis or a machine that does this because XRP hit this and came straight back. And now, you know, you got, you know, what are the next targets? The long-term price prediction, I had, you know, $4 and $3. No, 331. If there's a catalyst, which again, you know what I think, right? It's got to be a takeover. It's got to be, right? With all this FOMO, if anybody who actually wants Ripple, lets Ripple go public, they're going to pay massively higher prices. Massively. Can layer twos catch a bid? Yes. Yes. Right? Like Robinhood goes on Arbitrum and everyone's like, meh. Like Arbitrum was up one day and then they sold it. Retail sells the first uptick. You could run all of finance on ETH with the layer twos and it gets all its revenue from stablecoins. And Arbitrum is not above the 200-day moving average. I mean, you got to think back, and I've said this, and I know it may be repetitive, but if you said Arbitrum has a partnership to run tokenized stocks in January, this would have gone up 40% in one day. Instead, it went up and it went down again. Now people are like, oh, wow, that's okay. Oh my God. Is Stellar up 25%? God. You know what? I'm pretty sure, Toby, when we went through the ISO 20022 coins, she picked Stellar. She picked Stellar and one other. You'll have to go there to find out what, but right? Okay, it's up 25%. Now, I ask you this. When you get off the stream, because I'm only on 1 hour a day, right? I'm in 6th Street Crypto where we give it to you quick, dirty, maybe a little bit of off-color language. XLM is up 25% today. So if XLM could go up 25% today, what else can go up 25% in one day? Now you're like, wow, Bill, that's kind of extreme, right? 25% in one day. But hold on a second. If we go back and we look at ETH, okay, this is like a technical analysis clinic. Back here, this was the yen carry trade. Remember that? That might rear its ugly head one day. Not today. This is ETH going from 3,300 to 2,100 with grown men, like serious grown men, calling me up going, what is going on? Like real fear. So we're saying that with this diamond bottom, this beautiful diamond, with ETH responding the way things should when there's a diamond, which is cringe, up only. Up only. Why? Because when it went down, it was down only. Like, it's like, I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I can't believe how much I hate it. You know, it's going to wick down and come back, and then I'm going to hate it some more. You know, I'm going to sell it. I'm going to sell it at 1,700 because I can't believe how much I hate it. Do you realize that was April 9th? Like May, June, July. 3 months ago, ETH was at its 2017 high. And we're saying that this can't go any higher. Okay. Okay, bro. That's my answer. That is my answer. Like XRP is now up 11%. Okay. Ondo underperforming today. Why? Because it's afraid of the 200-day moving average. Right. It's like, you know, what are you going to tell your kids when the day that Bitcoin blew through 120 or some crazy thing? Some crazy thing. This feels like something crazy can happen. You know, BlackRock's pet project is not going to go up. Jupiter, a card-carrying member of the Solana 7. You got a lot of Gann stuff going on, which, you know, folks, listen to me. You got a lot of stuff going on. You got a lot of stuff going on in Patreon Platinum. Okay. Collections, Platinum. The American Altseason Portfolio, Crypto Week Preview, Deepin, Gann Timing, Day Trading, 4 alts for you, SUI and Polkadot. That was actually on YouTube. But with this one, I cut it down with the model to the 4 coins we like best. And there's our homie Uniswap at the low. William Gann inside of a computer model, and Toby, who has never been wrong about anything ever because she has special abilities. Don't believe me? Read this. By the way, that artwork behind me, yeah, that's her too. YouTube member area, $49 a month. Some guys are charging $200. She does live picks and AMA. Both of us do. Both of us do. So, I mean, you know, if you're not here, Where are you? There's like a $ button at the bottom of the chat. Folks, this is like second inning for altcoins. It's second inning of a 9-inning ball game. Because you know what's funny is, you know, and I really shouldn't say this because this is cringe. Okay. This is how I get up only, but not the kind of up only I want. Is I thought Bitcoin was going to stop and then alts were going to take over completely. Okay. I can't look at you and tell you that's true. I don't know that that's true. Bitcoin was supposed to be asleep. Bitcoin was supposed to do nothing, which is exactly why BlackRock probably went to ramming speed, or, you know, some entity. It could have been the U.S. Treasury. Can you imagine? Can you imagine them coming to the podium and say, we were the buyer? Oh my God. Now I am wearing a verbal lampshade on my head. I'm going to stop now. You know, stop it. Okay. So everyone's short MicroStrategy, little gap and go here. If you go to MicroStrategy on DeMark, right? Spin the wheel. What do we got? Well, let's see. Oh, look, just like the rest of the market, we have resistance at 454 and it's not interested in going there because it's afraid. Okay. Because everybody's going to short sell it. And, you know, I guess the shorts are winning here. I mean, they're long Bitcoin, short MicroStrategy. Okay. But what happens if MicroStrategy gets loose? 550 is the next target. So, I mean, if it gets above 450, it goes up $100. The 13 top and the 9 top was not a top. So if it's supposed to go down and it doesn't, what's it going to do? $13 top on the monthly chart. So if you have a 13 top on the monthly chart, it should go down. It should. There was a 13 top in ETH before FTX. It should go down. But what happens if it doesn't go down? See these little green numbers? You could go up 5 more months. Sometimes you get the 13 and the 9. Where's MicroStrategy going to be if it goes up 5 months in a row? I ask you that. Okay. Crypto Rico says, I have XRP, but I have much more XPR. Why isn't anyone talking about XPR? Well, sir, probably because nobody knows what XPR is. XPR network. I don't know, man. I mean, I'm not dissing. Is this an XRP typo coin? Probably not. But again, what did they do? They gave up. They washed everyone out. They gave everyone a check. Retail sold the first uptick. It didn't go down. So everyone FOMOs back in. Okay, wrong again. Dot and Adam not dead. Convince me. Okay. Probably going to have to put all the Lux Algo back on. Now, when it comes to stuff like Polkadot, you got to ask yourself a very important question. Okay. What happens when some big player like Robinhood, only much bigger, comes in with an announcement that they got to get involved? Polkadot does have a Lux Algo buy signal. Polkadot was at its discount zone on the 23rd of June. Now, Polkadot is capable of massive transaction throughput, period, at a very low price. Solana is not the only chain where you can like go fast. So is Polkadot a long shot? Is it yesterday's news? Maybe. But I ask you this, right? What happens if somebody comes in and they come in big in that network or another one? Now, Cosmos, I'm not as familiar with Cosmos, but of course, because everyone thinks Cosmos is junk, it's rallying. I don't know. It exited the bottom of an accumulation cone, and now it's probably going to do something like this. I think Novogratz is long stuff like this. Now, can you get capital better? Are you better off in something fast, something new like Barachain? Maybe, probably, right? But you always have to keep in mind, right, that can you go wrong with layer 1 or layer 0? I mean, if you go over here, we covered this yesterday, right? Layer 1 market cap is pushing higher. And I know I talk about total 3 every single day. Others. So this is about altcoins. So you're looking at your screen and you're like, well, I missed it. This is the other thing that the bull market does, right? Oh, I missed it. I can't get involved. I'm super bullish, but I can't get involved. The great Santini is here. Welcome. Pag Voop. I too want DOT to be successful, but I'd rather make money. Dude, I get it. But the thing is, there's plenty of time. If you want to trade in and out of stuff for 2 weeks, do it. Maybe the big Polkadot rally is at the end of the year when Bitcoin just goes completely crazy banana pants. Maybe this is waking up Wall Street because they missed this. They got stopped out. Their option strategy was wrong. This is others. I don't know, man. This looks like it's trying to break out. It looks like it's trying to break out. And I think this is the Ethereum ecosystem. Crypto Ethereum ecosystem market cap, $800 billion. So ETH et al., $800 billion. You could buy that, or I don't know. What do we got over here? What do we got over here in FOMO land? Oh, yeah, you could buy this into its premium zone. Bitcoin actually pushed its premium zone. I've never seen that. I mean, I haven't been a Luxago guy forever, but Bitcoin blew through the original premium zone at 114. But NVIDIA at 4 trillion is much more attractive. You got to be kidding me. You absolutely got to be kidding me. All right. I did everything I could today. Great filibuster is here. Sir, salute to you. Now, listen, in all seriousness, for anybody who's stuck around, I sincerely appreciate that. Our viewers, our customers, I really appreciate that. Hook her up. You know what I'm saying? Summer entertainment with a future where the hackers beat the hedge funds. Okay, people, we will see you in Patreon or the YouTube member area. Eagle King will be back soon for a better production stream. Stay strong. Love you guys. We'll see you tomorrow. We will see you soon.